Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something clicked.
I wasn't expecting that either.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
All right. So did you come up with the parts that you'd like to work with today? Or get to know better?
I've been thinking about it in the last few days, so I've taken some notes.
Mm-hmm.
I note the central part is the part that's the snow. That's the central part that causes some problems for me.
Mm-hmm. Says no.
It's a snow. It's a very powerful protector. It's refusing to do the tasks that are care tasks that are needed for life. There is housework and organizing and planning and various tasks that need to be done just for functioning. And this part is blocking it all. Mm-hmm. And this comes because I think I'm neurodivergent. I'm not diagnosed yet, but I know that there's a lot of executive functioning skills that are difficult for me.
Sure.
That there are different experts. Some of them list 5 executive function skills, and others list 13. But it's all about being organized and functioning. Mm-hmm. And when we grow up and we don't have those skills, there's a lot of shaming.
Absolutely.
Coming directly and indirectly from the society.
Yeah.
And then there's criticism that is internalized and becomes like a blueprint for our internal critic. Mm-hmm. When our internal critic takes all those voices and uses them inside, trying to motivate and organize the systems inside. I've worked with the critic in the past, so we managed to dump some of those external voices, but sometimes a critic gets activated when since I'm not doing enough of the organizing, then there's a bit of chaos and unorganized systems in my household.
Mm-hmm.
And when I come home and I see the mess and things that need to be done, the critic gets activated and would like to motivate the other parts.
Mm-hmm.
The only way the critic knows.
That's right.
So even though I know that the critic is very much softened up, the critic still plays a role here and gets activated. Sometimes, especially in the very moment when I arrive home from outside. Then there is another part that takes me outside. It's the explorer part, the happy part, and it's motivated by avoiding and motivated with creating some positive feelings. Because if I come home and there's a negative feeling of the dread of doing the organizing or cleaning and things that are heavy and unpleasant, and there's a lot of negative feelings.
Yeah.
Then the explorer part is protecting me by taking me outside where it's pleasant, safe.
I can really relate to all those parts.
Happiness is accessible.
Mm-hmm.
So this
outside where there's no mess.
We can escape. So that the explorer has been major avoider, and it's been working in a way to protect some parts that may be feeling overwhelmed. So I don't know which part it is, but I have a part that gets overwhelmed when there's mess, and if you're not doing enough of organizing, then there is mess.
Right. Okay.
So when I come home, I often get a flood of overwhelm.
Right.
And the part that's the snow is also protecting the overwhelmed part. The part that's the snow creates like an invisibility cloak of the mess.
Okay.
And it says, this is not important now.
Yeah.
And it protects me to do the most important things, like meal preparation. The meal has to be done. So there's a bit of mess in this area, but I'm not going to clean it up now, because then I wouldn't feed myself and I'll be hungry and won't be able to function. So the part says no to organizing this part that is a part of environment that is overwhelming. It puts an invisibility cloak on it. It says, so I have to come later because you need to feed yourself. And you need to brush your teeth, or you need to go to sleep. This will come later. So the part that says no to like deeper work of organizing, but it doesn't say no to the essential work. So it only allows the essential work.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so it's not totally opposed to getting stuff done. It just doesn't want to do those deeper tasks of organizing something when there's dinner to be made, etc.
Yeah. And it only allows the most essential things, like that would be allowed in the crisis. Like you need to eat, to sleep, you need to shower. Yeah. So I feel like I'm in survival mode because I'm only allowed to do the most essential care tasks.
Right.
But there's the deeper organizing that needs to be done, and I promised myself to start it in autumn, and autumn is underway, and can't pass through the guarding force of the no part.
Okay. All right.
And there must be other parts here, and I have no idea. I know there's some other parts maybe involved, or maybe I just don't know them very well, who is doing what. But yeah, I'm so confused. I'm confused. How do I work with those parts so that we as a system can start getting things done?
Yeah.
Because there's another part that wants to get things done.
Sure.
And improve the mess and organize things so that it's easier to find things.
Yeah. Okay. So, you say you're confused, but you certainly have. It sounds like you've done a lot of mapping out of these parts, and I just want to say how much I can relate to that kind of system, and it all makes sense to me.
Okay, I'm back here.
All right. So, are you still wanting to focus on that part that says no?
Let me check. I took a little note when I was thinking about all those different parts. Yeah, there's also a part that blocks planning. And I don't know if it's the part that says no. Because the part that says no is actually says no to actual doing. It's like, no. Not this. Please focus on the essentials. So that's the part that says no. But it's also a part that protects me from planning.
Yeah.
And it's because sometimes in the past, when I was planning, I would get hyper-focused and doing so much planning, but then being so tired with it and the action didn't follow.
Yep. I know that system well too.
That's it. I worked with a coach at some point in my life. And this part, the planning part, I think got shamed for not doing the action. And with coaching, there was always an encouragement at the end of the session to what you're going to do and stop all the planning.
Right.
It is not working for you. Stop the planning. You'll never get anything done if you keep planning.
Right.
And at that point of my life, I've given up planning and developed a survival system that the things only get done if I have the part that says no.
Right.
And doesn't allow any deeper work and just do what must be done.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think they are separate parts, but it is.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So I think that planning is necessary, but it's not allowed in my system, and I don't know what's going on there. Well, I just realized this part last night. So I think maybe this is a good place to start.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
This is the part that blocks the planning.
Yeah.
Okay.
No planning.
No planning allowed.
No.
Right.
Not safe. Waste of time.
Okay. And where do you notice?
Don't do it.
Where do you notice that when it comes up, in or around your body?
It might be like a cloud around my head and shoulders, a fog that I can't see.
Okay.
The fog comes and just don't look outside. Let's focus on the essential and don't get distracted. Planning is a window to get distracted, window to the world, to explore and to follow different paths and waste time. Don't waste time. I think it's a very intellectual part. Things, if there's no distraction, then maybe things get done.
Right, right. And how do you feel towards this part now as you notice it?
I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
Because I would like to have the support system of having plans.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's been very difficult. It's been very difficult to live life without making plans.
Yeah, survival mode.
Yeah. But this is the only thing that was allowed.
Sure. Okay.
This part is very strong, and together with the part who says no, they are both standing there, their arms crossed, and one is no doing, the other one is no planning.
Right.
Yeah, no doing and no planning.
Yeah. So this frustration that you feel towards the planning, the no planning part, can you just try to ask that part if it will step back and give you some space so that you can work with the no planning part and get to know it better? Just see how it reacts to that.
Yeah, I think the frustration comes from the planning part.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, so I think the planning part is very happy to see, stay here on the side and see what's going on.
Yeah.
And as for me, I feel more understanding of the no planning part, because both of the no parts are trying to protect me from danger.
Right. Great. Okay. So you're feeling more understanding of it. You're feeling less frustrated about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe you can just show it that. Show it how you're feeling now towards it and invite it to speak with you. Let it know that you'd like to get to know it and understand it more.
I have another part that came in that is scared.
Yeah.
Of the no planning part. And
okay. Let's listen to that.
It's tension in my jaw.
Mm-hmm.
Very tense. Yeah. I'm scared of the no planning part, and then the other no part, they're really, really strong and forceful.
Yeah. Does it make sense to you that this part would be scared of these forceful parts?
No.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Who is
so maybe just listen to it a little more. Just see, maybe you can ask it what its concern is, and especially its concern about you just getting to know these parts.
The scared part is I'm scared to work with them because they're so powerful.
Yeah.
And wants to push them away and just keep it locked in the darkness, in the dark box.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe it's scared of the feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I get it, it's scary.
Yeah. You can remind that scared part that you have the power here to go forward or step back as much as you want with these parts, and that your only goal in getting to know them is just to get to know a little bit about them. If at any time you're feeling overwhelmed, it's okay to stop or back up.
Yeah. I talked with the scared part. It's let go of my jaw now.
Great.
that's here with me together with the planning part, so that like there's a bench next to my left shoulder, and they're hanging out here with us.
Okay.
And they'll be watching.
That's fine. If that feels okay with you, and it feels like they've given you enough space, it's okay if they're nearby.
Yeah. I like to keep my concerned parts close.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Very helpful.
like some people have a waiting room, that for my parts, that's way too much distance. There's no waiting room there. There's no door.
Mm-hmm.
You're close and ready to listen at any time. Yeah.
Yeah, if that feels
I
right
like the
for you.
physical. I like the physical distance that they're on a separate bench.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here with myself. I'm blended now.
Right. All right. So you can try again, then turning back towards the no planning part.
Yeah.
Just let it know that you'd like to get to know it.
Yeah.
And ask it what it would like to tell you about itself, or what it wants you to know.
It's just no planning.
Yeah.
I can hear how strong it is. And yeah, I wonder. I need to check the age. Well, I think I'll ask it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess the part is about a few or 10 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What else are you noticing about it?
It says planning is dangerous and waste of time.
Yeah.
It's very focused on. Actually, it's focused on getting things done.
Mm-hmm.
At once, getting things done without planning.
Right. Right. And does that make sense to you that it has that bias towards action instead of planning?
It has a strong belief that came from outside that people are able to keep their most important priorities in their memory.
Right. Right.
And it's not an accurate belief with the type of brain I have, which cannot keep even like 4 tasks, 5 tasks in the memory.
Yeah. Yeah.
With problems of executive function, it's simply not possible, and this part assumes that it's possible.
Yeah. So you could just let it know that you see that. You see that it has that belief, and maybe that you see that belief, came from somewhere.
Yeah,
Came
and I think
from
I need to
others.
update the part that it works for other people, but it may not work for me. And some part is curious about it.
Yeah.
Because it wants to keep me safe from wasting.
Mm-hmm. And would you like to learn more about kind of its concerns around wasting time? What its main fears are around, what would happen if it did? Mm-hmm.
The part knows my tendency to go off tangent, and when I get distracted. So the part is worried that if we start making planning, then I will spend days or hours looking into planning systems and then not actually doing the planning and actually not having plans, and the action still needs to be done.
Yeah. Does that all make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then planning is supposed to provide guide to action, and if the time that is spent on planning goes to somewhere else, there's actually no guide. So that's
Right.
in ways that there was no action, there's no guide, and
Right.
the path, the time has disappeared.
Right.
And the action hasn't been taken. So I guess the no planning part is the action part, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, so just let it know that that makes sense to you and that you see its value in wanting to get stuff done.
Yeah. I'm really amazed that the no planning part turns out to be the take action part.
Yeah.
And it was trying to protect the take action by no planning.
Right.
And I was so stuck with the no planning, I didn't even know that the goal is to take action.
Right. Great. Well, you can just share that insight with it. Thank it for showing you what it's showing you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to investigate more about if it has any deeper fears it wants to share with you about really what would happen if you didn't take action, what would be so bad about that?
But that's the part that is developed when I was in a situation that was unsafe, living with a person who was unsafe, and I had to take action to remove myself, which involved lots of various steps, and it was very complicated, but there was no time for planning. Just I had to hold everything in my head and let's do this, and
yeah. So it kept you safe there.
yes.
Great. And are you able to show appreciation? Yeah, show appreciation for that.
Yeah. The part sees the world through that situation and just stuck there.
And was that also about 10 years ago? Was it a younger time? Okay.
Yeah, that was about 10 years ago. That's when the age the part is set. And I guess the whole system of my parts is the no part and the no planning part are not updated about the current situation.
Yeah.
Because I know they are there, but I'm not connected with them. There was no dialogue until now.
Right. Great. So you're able to update them or update this part on your current situation.
Yeah. Good idea. Yeah. The part didn't know. It's safe now.
Yeah. And how is it reacting to that?
With interest and curiosity.
And what would it rather be doing if it didn't have to work so hard? If it's true that it's safer now?
Oh, that probably would be the director for action.
Yeah, 'cause that's what it's good at, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's still being a director of like the essential actions that need to be done, like take the vaccination, go to dentist, but it was not allowing planning
Yeah.
of a more complex project.
Mm-hmm. And when you think about planning complex projects, could you just check that with the part now and just see if it feels any different now that it's been updated on your current situation? How does it feel now about the idea of you doing some of that bigger picture planning?
Maybe not confident.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have trust in the planning process.
Yeah.
Or just the time it takes.
Right.
I guess because there's critic involved, and the critic can come, and if the planning is taking too long and gets distracted, and the critic comes with rage, so this part's worried about critic getting involved and hijacking the whole system, and then even action is not possible.
Wow, that's a very wise part, isn't it?
Yeah. Trying to keep like a balance,
Mm-hmm.
not to activate the critic, and
Sure.
so that some action is done, but it doesn't. The time doesn't get wasted by planning.
Yeah, and so what would it like to see, or what does it need from you going forward to help it feel relaxed or to address some of these other issues?
It would need. It asks me to work with the critics so it can be safe.
Okay. What else?
Maybe it would like to write down the things that have been done.
Okay.
There's no planning doesn't mean no writing.
Right.
It wants to see the achievements, see the outcomes, wants to see that actually some things are getting done.
Mm-hmm. Great. And just so you know, I'm taking notes in this conversation. So the things that it's sharing with you now, I'm writing down. If you're not, I'll be able to share that with you. So what else would it like from you?
I got lost here. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else. It wants to see action. It wants to see action, and it wants to have it written down. Like a proof of the action has happened.
Right.
That's the main role, the main goal for this part.
Okay. So you might just check with it if you were writing down the things that get done, proving the action, and if you were able to work with the critic so it didn't come in and do what it does. Does that feel like this part would be able to relax? Is that those are the main things? So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about?
I'll have to check in with this part in the future.
Sure.
to see if anything else comes up. It's nothing else right now.
And how do you feel about agreeing to that stuff? Does that seem reasonable to you and something you can make some type of commitment to, working with the critic and finding a way to prove these acts? Great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been doing a list of things that I've done every week, but with the no planning. What did you call it? With the no planning directive, I dropped it. I dropped all the writing of the plans. So the writing of the actions that have been done has also been dropped.
Right. Yeah. It kind of felt like that was all part of the planning.
Yeah. The part that was doing that gave up.
Mm-hmm.
Gave up because of the resistance, because of the pushback.
Yeah.
And just gave up on anything, any planning, and it included also the writing down of the weekly actions that got achieved.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of misunderstanding there.
Yeah. Really, it makes a lot of sense to me as a really great place to start. When you want to change anything, the first step of just kind of recording what's going on can be so valuable.
Yeah.
Having that proof, having that, so it doesn't feel like it's just a fog.
Yeah. Yeah. Coming towards this part of curiosity because I didn't know it and what's going on in there. I'm also really surprised with the fear of the critic. Because in the past, maybe until a year ago or 2 years ago, the critic has been really active.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you had done some work with the critic.
Yeah. Because it was having some heavy burdens. So. But the critic is always there. It doesn't disappear. It's always there, being ready to step in if needed.
And I'm sorry,
it's activated, right?
Were you saying that just in the past couple of years, the critic has been more activated?
No. It's been activated until maybe a year ago.
Okay.
It's been always activated, and right now it's hanging out there, being ready to step in if needed.
Yeah.
It doesn't step in the way it used to.
Yeah. I'm curious, in your IFS journey, have you understood and assessed what maybe what kind of exile is behind that critic or exiles, and have you gone through any of that process of unburdening with them?
No. Well, maybe once. Yeah, I know the exile, and I think that there are lots of protectors. Even if there's one main exile, there is a complex system of protectors.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And the critic has been the top one.
Yeah.
And has been a major change when working with the critic and able to hear it and connect with it. And I mentioned earlier the part that gets overwhelmed. So it was the critic would start criticism to protect, and the part that gets overwhelmed will be overwhelmed. I spent since the last 10 years ago till maybe last year, till the critic softened, I spent those years being overwhelmed all the time. Which is typical for all neurodivergent people. And we get all those criticism from the world that the critic picks up and brings it in. Yeah, so the work with the critic was essential to stop the overwhelm from happening, but it's still happening sometimes. So that's the major part underneath. Is that part that carries the overwhelm.
Yes. Okay. Well, I would love to work with you with any of those parts, at whatever pace feels right for you. I know that we've already, been talking for almost an hour, so I'm happy to kind of continue now if you want, or if you want to bring it to a close and book another time with me or not, whatever feels right for you.
There's one essential part that I would like to connect with. Is the part that wants to do planning. That's been pushed away by the no planning part, and that's been neglected, and I would like to check in with that part.
Great idea. Yeah.
Because it's maybe like a younger part, and it says nobody listens to me anymore, and it feels unwanted with all the wisdom of planning that it has.
Yeah, so you can let it know that you've asked some of those critical parts to step back, and that you've worked with this no planning part, and that you're here now to get to know it.
Yeah. It's high time.
Great.
It's not been allowed to do any planning. Or not much. Very little. And a couple of months ago, I got this part, a great notebook for a planning system. And there is some information online how to set it up, and the no planning parts have done all the work not to allow it.
Right. Yeah, because they've been afraid that you'll spend too much time planning on planning, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The action part likes to take the tasks and run away with them. But then after they are done and there is no plan, then there's a confusion what to do next. So then the let's go outside part comes in and says, now it's time for a little happiness.
Yeah. It sounds like you're very aware that you need all these parts and that they're all useful and valuable.
I'm so sorry that the planning part has been neglected and pushed away and not allowed to do its job.
Yeah, and are you able to show it that, and is it receiving that?
Yeah. It's been so eager, but it's been just its enthusiasm has been completely dumped with a bucket of cold water, and other bullying parts that say, go away, we don't want you here. You don't have any valuable contributions, but
Yeah, just you can show it that you see how other parts have been hard on it, and that you want to get to know all those parts so that they can come to you instead of having to battle each other.
Yeah. And I can see the enthusiasm that the planning part has, and I don't know if you heard about, it's not a commercial, but there is it's not just one company. There are companies that make notebooks that you can write in, and then you can scan it and it will create a file. One would be a picture of what you wrote, and it will recognize your writing, and it will make it into a written document. And then you can wipe it and write again.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
So that's what we what the planning part is very excited about and would like to use instead of new notebooks and lots of paper.
Right.
And that would be like the bridge between the digital world and the writing, because the planning part needs to write by hand and see it written to create a structure.
Yeah.
The just direct connection from brain onto the white page in the computer is much more difficult to create, and it's not as visual as writing by hand. So
and it does require a system. These things don't just happen by themselves, right?
Yeah.
The notes on paper don't just, even with the best technology, if you wanna get them into an email or into somewhere digital, there's got to be some kind of system. Yeah.
I'm thinking about a connection from the brain to paper. It takes time, even from the brain to paper, to have these thoughts externalized, and the planning part has not been allowed the time for writing notes.
Yeah.
Well, it's been allowed very tiny notebook. The other parts allowed it like really tiny. I don't know, it's just A6 or something, like 8 centimeters by 6 or something like that. That's all that's been allowed. You can only write tasks for the day.
Yeah. And so what is this?
You're not allowed to spend.
Yeah. I was just going to ask what this part needs from you.
It needs time to allow it to do its work. It needs me to protect it from the other parts and to negotiate with the other parts. The space and time. Because it's not been allowed. It's just been pushed in the corner and stay there.
And how do you feel about doing that for it now? So does that feel more possible, more realistic?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying. I'll be trying to protect the time not for just the strong parts, but also for the planning part, who has been more quiet and just stepping back until now.
Yeah.
But everyone here, all the parts are kind of worried, and how is this going to work? The action part is worried. So like, okay, we'll allow the planning part, but there'll be no action again. The planning part is worried that action part will push it away again. Yeah, that's new information that maybe the parts need to digest. Yes.
It sounds like you're in a better place with them.
Yeah.
They're able to communicate easier with you.
We took the first step, which is really great.
Yeah. That's right. We're going to write down that step as proof of action.
That's why I woke up at very early time today to be here with my parts.
Great. So thank you for sharing it all with me, and thanks to your parts. Is there anything else you want to do with them or ask of them, or do they have any questions, concerns?
I think that they are very happy for the connection and interest and discussion about what they are worried about, and they'll appreciate a check-in.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
So many parts.
Yes, and even if you can't or we can't, give them all what they all want all the time, to even acknowledge them, to even acknowledge that there are so many, and to be able to say, okay, well, there are so many, and balancing them is going to require this, or it's, you know, it's not necessarily provide what they all want all the time, but it's just that acknowledgement of needing to balance them.
Yeah, because the action part is so strong and it doesn't want any planning. So I think that I'll keep checking in with it.
Great.
Because it's not the planning part that's the problem, it's the part that is blocking the planning.
Right.
The planning part is eager to go, but there's been so much resistance.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was good to check in with this part. I didn't even know exactly what's going on there. Very, very valuable for me today.
Yeah. Well, thanks again to your parts, and thanks to you, and for doing all this, for letting me in.
Thank you for facilitating this process today.
I hope it's helpful.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Feel free to use that link if you want to find more time with me. And if the times don't work, I'm happy to look for others that maybe aren't available on that calendar.
Thank you.
Just let me know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll book another call when possible.
Great.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
And you too.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.